Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your favorite show, Lumiere. My name is Babatunde Adebola, and I'm very happy to welcome you to this special edition where we'll be showcasing how entrepreneurship helps us to step out and fulfill our destinies. We have a beautiful cast today. We have Gbenga Afolabi, joined by his lovely wife Adetutu. They'll be sharing their experiences on how they've been able to run a very thriving business within a relatively short period of time. And I also have here Tope Folayan, who heads an e-commerce firm in West Africa where we're hosting this event. E-commerce is gaining ground, and Tope is one of the market leaders in this space. We're going to be listening to his story. Just for those who are watching for the first time, Lumiere is a program that seeks to showcase the lives of individuals across the world who have made up their minds to live deliberately, to be successful by choice and not by accident. Too many people give external circumstances the responsibility for making them successful. And I find this very appalling because you may wait forever. I find, however, that when you make a deliberate decision to take your destiny into your own hands and run with it, even if it appears as if you're on your own, you find out that more often than not you are more fulfilled, and even better still, you might strike gold. Please feel free to share your story depending on who it is that wants to chip in. So over to you guys.
Thank you today for having us on your show, and thank you, viewers. I'll start from where you stopped, and I think it resonates with the topic of today, which is daring to step up.
Yeah.
And at every point in time, we need to get to that point where we make up our minds to take that bold step and just assume if you're not going to fail, what will you really do? Because many of us find ourselves trapped in the fear of what if I fail, and we never dare to just enjoy life and enjoy the adventure. And to dive quickly into what the story was, I used to work in one of the foremost multinational firms in the country, global, with quite a number of global brands, with global presence. And for an average young man, it was a thing of a pride to work with a firm like that. Huge exposure. I was very fast in the corporate world. When I was made a full-fledged manager in the company, I was one of the youngest managers, and they kept saying, "Oh, you're the youngest manager that's made it in such a short while," because it's quite a big firm. But 4 or 5 years down the line, I felt the nudge to step out. I felt I just didn't want to be a conformist. I just didn't want to be one of the ant soldiers who just goes out every day and keep running the rat race. So it wasn't so much about the adventure of making money and making wealth. It was about creating change, seeing opportunities, doing something different, and challenging status quo. That for me was a major motivation to step up.
What I find interesting about what you said is that from being an employee, you stepped out and you're initially responsible for 4 families, because when you say 4 people, I actually look beyond the people to the families. And now you're responsible for about 100 families, as it were, or even more, or even growing. And that's phenomenal. And I'd like to ask Adetutu, you said you have actually been working together from when you were both in school. So how has the experience been? Because I know a lot of people are not comfortable working with their spouses. What has been your experience, whether you were in school or even now that you're running the business together?
Okay, well, working together actually brings us closer.
Okay.
And work is work, family is family.
Okay, not everybody can do that.
Yes, work is work. I think a woman needs a lot of emotional intelligence to actually work with your husband. You need to draw the lines. You need to know that when he's angry at work, he's angry at work. It's not because it's not about you.
Yeah.
So having to always differentiate that when we have issues, very important. And also trying to know that, okay, a man is good at thinking more strategically into the future, and all you need to do is to ensure that those things are put in place. You know, he brings in the idea and all that, and you put the form into those ideas, and that makes it easy for us to work together.
Excellent. So so the combination has sustained over the years.
Yeah, I think she's more detailed.
Okay.
So I'm not a typical manager. I don't think I don't call myself a good manager.
Okay.
I'm not very fantastic at it. Like I said, by my temperament, I get bored a bit, and so she creates the balance.
Okay.
And so for me, it's been very complimentary.
Next, we're going to listen to Tope Folayan. Tope Folayan heads an e-commerce firm, and the e-commerce companies are growing. So he's going to tell us your story. So Tope, over to you.
All right, today thanks for having me. And it's nice to hear everyone's story because mine is very, very different. I think I'm quite inquisitive by nature.
Okay.
I went to college or university, I studied engineering,
Yeah.
and the whole thing about engineering is really how do you solve problems. So after school, worked for a while, and I realized that there's something that happens when you actually step out, and you have to marry the business side with the engineering side. So I went to business school.
Okay.
Worked a while, but interestingly enough, and this is a true story, I had spoken to a friend at business school and said if I ever have a good opportunity to go back to Africa, I would take it. So while working, 3 years in, I get a call from a friend, and we didn't stay in touch so much, but I get a call from a friend and he says, Tope, you remember the time when you said if you had a good opportunity to work in Africa, you would take it? He says, I have an opportunity. And one thing I've also tried to do, I feel life is short.
At that point, I always thought you were busy coming back to Africa.
but here's the thing, right? I never want to live with regrets.
Yes.
And these are mental notes. They're not really, I didn't really write it down, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But I had this mental note that I would want to go back and give Africa a chance and work in Africa. So the call came, I remembered my mental note, and I said 3 days later, I'm in.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of a journey back. So I wound up becoming a consultant. I worked in Nigeria, I worked in South Africa, we did some work in Ghana. And then the truth is, I get a call from my parents. Tope, at some point you need to settle down. And I have beautiful parents, it's never been a pressure, but I realized it's true.
Yeah.
So I resigned without any job. Again, I won't want to live with regrets, I don't want to fear. And I wind up being without a job for 2 or 3 months. But one good thing is whatever I do, I try to do the very best at it. So incidentally, someone I had done some consulting work for wound up finding out I was now free and said, would you like to work for us? So I took the job.
So let's take a step. Why did you resign then?
Well, the job I had as a consultant had me flying around the world.
Okay, so it was to reduce the flights.
So it was to reduce literally would fly, be deployed for 3 weeks, 2 weeks at a time, then you can go back to the US. So I resigned, I get a call, I accept the job, I start working. And I spent a long time in the US, and I got used to US retail.
Welcome to the concluding segment of this beautiful program. This is where we get to hear from the guests tell us about their legacies. So I'll start with Adetutu. How would you like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered as a woman that impacts on lives that comes around me. Right now, I want every contact to be impacted. So I want to add value to people. I want to uplift the standard of living of every person that comes around me.
Great, sounds good. Victor?
For me, I basically want to be seen as someone whose life is worth $1 million. And it's not about $1 million in terms of currency, it's the fact that the day I drop dead, I want 1 million lives to be directly affected by me leaving this place.
I will have an order, and that's family first, people, and work. And work in the sense that it needs to live on after I'm gone.
Good things that you guys are saying, and our wishes and prayer is that these things are related. So as is a custom, while the show was going on, we did have your pictures taken. I'll start with the one for Mr. and Mrs. Afolabi. Yeah, that's you. So let me give it to the lady on behalf of the family. Wish you all that you wish about life, and wish you much success ahead.
Thank you.
And then I'll give Tope his own.
Thank you.